Over the years, a lot of us have developed a certain expectation from Volkswagen cars. We expect them to be great fun to drive and at the same time have solid build quality. Now, after more than a decade in India, Volkswagen has finally launched a car that is made in India for India, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Taigun that we are driving today here in this beautiful city of Udaipur. Now, a lot of you have been asking us questions about the Taigun, and there have been a varied list of questions. Is the Taigun good enough to take on the likes of the Creta and the Seltos? Has making the car to a certain price point for India compromised the Volkswagen DNA or the character as we know it? And a lot more. So there's only one way to answer all of those questions, and that is to drive and tell you over the next few minutes whether the Taigun is a car you should invest your money or not. Now, on the face of it, the Volkswagen Taigun is a very impressive car as far as design is concerned. I personally absolutely love the way this car looks. It's got that same Volkswagen look to it, so it's got clean lines, and that means it'll age well. But it has a lot of Indian touches. Now, a lot of us Indians love chrome, and that's the reason why you see so much chrome at the front. Now, the best thing is that although there's a lot of chrome, it has been done tastefully, so it doesn't look garish. It still looks good, and the car looks premium and at the same time sporty. Even if you look at the overall profile of the Taigun, it has that proper SUV profile, which is so crucial for Indian buyers from a design perspective. It looks like a proper SUV, but at the same time, it's got so many creases and a lot of muscular design angles going along, and that gives the car a very muscular and a nice athletic stance, which will go down very well with young buyers. You've got these nice meaty 17-inch alloy wheels on the side and smart looking roof rails, which by the way are fully functional. And of course, once you move to the rear, well, that's where the party piece of the Taigun really is, because it's got this infinity tail lamp which runs from one end to another and gives the Taigun a very premium appeal. Looks great, especially at night, and it just gives the Taigun so much of a premium flavor which no other vehicle in this segment has. And if you look at the rest of the touches along the body profile of the Taigun, again the Taigun has been done in a very tasteful manner. Designers haven't really gone overboard with any body panel, and that's the nice thing about the Taigun. It looks like you would expect a Volkswagen to be. It's clean, it's neat, and it is elegant. But at the same time, a lot of things that we as Indian consumers want, the designers have been able to integrate that well. And the Taigun, from that perspective, as far as I am concerned, is definitely one of the best looking cars in this segment. Now, most of you already know that the Taigun and the Skoda Kushaq share the platform, but that doesn't mean that once you're inside the cabin, you're going to find a similar story. There are visible differences. Inside the Taigun cabin, well, it looks thoroughly premium and modern. Now, one look at the dashboard and you can instantly make out that the premium flavor continues here, because you can see the glossy element here is quite nice. You've also got this nice graphical element. The plastic quality again is quite nice. I'll not say it's the best in the segment, but yes, it is good enough. And of course, when you look at the screen has been integrated very well, and it is a very easy and good to use screen. The touch interface is nice, the response is nice, the user interface is also quite simple, and it comes with wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and you also have connectivity in form of Volkswagen Connect, and you also get some apps like Ghana, and you can also access navigation through an app. So there is a lot you can do in terms of connectivity. But that said, unlike the Creta or the Seltos, it is not a fully connected car. It does not have an embedded SIM. And the main difference between the Kushaq and the Taigun is this digital instrument cluster. Now, this is something that you would typically see in an Audi, like Audi has the virtual cockpit. So here, if you opt for the GT, which this is the automatic one, well, you will get a fully digital instrument cluster and it looks fantastic. It just adds so much to the premium flavor of the cabin. And of course, the displays, very nice, simple and easy readouts, and looks good at the same time. If I talk about the steering wheel, well, again, it's a nice steering wheel. It's got all the controls. It's a flat bottom steering wheel. And if you look at the overall cabin in terms of space, in terms of practicality, again, there's a lot that the designers have done, and it just shows it is a practically usable and a very nice cabin. In terms of features too, the Taigun is well loaded. You've got a wireless charging pad here. There's a normal electrically operated sunroof, not a panoramic one. There's a good audio system with nice sound quality, and of course there's also ventilated seats, but we're driving the GT version right now. The GT does not get ventilated seats, but if you're opting for the 1-liter top variant, you'll also get ventilated seats up front. If you look at the overall way the cabin has been set up, it is very elegant, and at the same time it is very functional. And now on to the rear seat space, and this is something a lot of you have been asking us, that because the Volkswagen Taigun, like the Skoda Kushaq, is smaller in size compared to the Creta and Seltos, does it compromise space? And I'm happy to report it does not. Now, I've got the driver's seat adjusted to my driving preference, and to give it some perspective, I'm 5 feet 8 inches, 172 centimeters tall, and well, you can see that I have a lot of knee room to spare, got good leg room, and the seat itself is quite nice, good amount of under thigh support. It's got good cushioning, and because of the relatively low flat floor, you can have 3 people sitting abreast. But because it's not a very wide car, the seat isn't particularly wide, so getting 3 people in the seat can be quite a bit of squeeze. But yes, if you're looking at 4 people, you can have them all in good comfort. Of course, you have this nice cushioned armrest here with dual cup holders. You've got adjustable headrests here, and if I talk about the backrest angle and the cushioning here, again, that also is impressive. The one thing though that I do not like in the Taigun is that the floor has been designed in a way which is quite similar to the Kushaq, and I pointed out when I was reviewing the Kushaq as well. You have a sort of a compartment here that forms, and this, to my understanding, is a bit surprising, that how come this wasn't sorted out. So you basically end up placing your feet within this small box-like structure, and that over long journeys can be a bit of a bother for some, especially if you are someone who's considerably taller than me. The concern will only grow with height. But that apart, it is an overall nice place to be, comfortable cabin. You've got rear AC vents, 2 Type-C charging ports. So yes, all in all, a good cabin, feature loaded, functional and modern, looks good, has got good space, and at the same time is pretty comfortable as well. And now let's talk about the most interesting part about the Taigun, and that's the performance. Well, you get an option of 2 engines, no diesel, only petrol one. So you get either a 1.5 liter TSI or a 1 liter TSI engine, and you can pair them both with a manual or an automatic gearbox. The difference being that the 1 liter engine is available with a torque converter automatic, but the 1.5 liter is available with a DSG. Now, we have driven the 1.5 only today, and that's the GT variant. And let me tell you how it is to drive. Well, before that, let me tell you some of the differences. Once you step inside the cabin, you do not get, with the manual gearbox, the brilliant looking digital instrument cluster. Here you have analog and a digital combination. The traditional design still looks good, gives you all the information, and even like the dashboard color layout is different. So we are driving a red car right now, and the dashboard too has been done up in red. Looks energetic and sporty at the same time. And getting back to performance, well, 150 PS of power, 250 Newton meters of torque, which is a healthy figure for a petrol engine. And performance, well, it is absolutely impressive. Right from the word go, the Taigun has enough power to excite you and keep you entertained for a long time. Once you have passed about 1600 RPM, well, that's when the engine starts getting into its element and you get a decent surge of power. Cross 2000 RPM and things get a lot better. With the DSG, of course, there's no issue at all. The gearbox works brilliantly. It works like a charm. The upshifts, downshifts are quick. And if you want better control, you can take control of the gearbox by using the pedals that have been given behind the steering wheel. You can also put the gearbox into sports mode that just holds on to the revs more and has a shorter ratio at any given point of time. Coming to the manual gearbox, again, flawless performance. The throws are not long, they're short throws. The movement is slick, so you can easily row through the gears at a rapid pace when you really want to give the beans to the car. So as far as driving performance is concerned, it is a very exciting car. And reaching high speed is not at all an issue with this vehicle. You can breeze to 100. Not just that, you can easily drive at 150 plus and the engine does not show any signs of strain. So it's a very potent combination that you get here. And as far as NVH insulation is concerned, again, good job done there. When you're driving at a calm and a very nominal pace, it's a relaxed engine. It doesn't emit too much of sound. Again, even the tire roll noise, the wind noise, all of it remains insulated till a certain speed, and it all adds up to the refinement levels inside the cabin. So, of course, it's sporty to drive. You can get a bit of a throaty sound from the engine when you're pushing it, but at the same time, it can be a very refined drive also. As for the handling, well, a lot of people have doubts that maybe because this car is built to a price and for Indian market, maybe it doesn't have that typical Volkswagen DNA. But let me tell you, that is absolutely not the case. This drives like a proper Volkswagen should. It is fun to drive. It can easily go around corners at high speed, straight line stability, no problem at all. And even when you're braking hard from high speed, the vehicle does not waver, it does not lose its line. The steering feedback is good. It's relatively easy to use and light in traffic, but it again gains weight and gives good amount of feedback once you are pushing it through the corners. The brake pedals again give you a decent amount of feedback. So add all of this and what you get is a package that gives the driver a lot of confidence to push this vehicle, and that's exactly what you expect from a Volkswagen. So as far as driving performance is concerned, for me, I can quite easily say this, that the Taigun is the most exciting and the most fun to drive SUV in its segment. And now that I've been telling you so much about the exciting performance, it doesn't mean that it's all about going fast. Fuel efficiency too is important these days, especially with the skyrocketing fuel prices that we have in our country. So yes, fuel efficiency, well, we've driven it and we've been driving it really hard, and still the Volkswagen Taigun has managed to return a fuel efficiency of around 12.5 kilometers to a liter. And that's a good number. And let me tell you, if you're going to drive it in a regular cycle, in a sedate manner, I'm sure the number would be much higher. And part of this is because this engine comes with cylinder deactivation technology. So when you're not really pushing it, when you're just cruising along and the car does not need that much power, 2 cylinders will shut down and it operates only on 2 cylinders. That means you save a considerable amount of fuel. You can in fact cruise on the highway at 100 plus and 2 cylinders will shut down if you're not gassing it really. And you can make out by the display. In the digital instrument cluster, it will either show 2-cylinder in the fully digital instrument cluster. Here in the manual version, where you have the digital and analog layout, again an eco indicator pops up and that tells you that 2 cylinders have been shut down. What about the ride quality? Is it comfortable? And let me tell you, it is slightly inclined towards sporty and a firmer setup, but it's not to the point that it will get uncomfortable. So all the undulations on the road, the potholes, broken surfaces, they are handled with ease, and the occupants will still find themselves in good comfort. At very low speeds, at times it can be a bit on the firm side, the ride quality, but as you gain momentum, it becomes very good. And in an overall driving cycle for any kind of roads, I think the Taigun just hits the right balance that one would need for Indian road conditions. So in the end, the Volkswagen Taigun has impressed us a lot. It has a lot of things going for it, including a very good looking design. It has a nice cabin, good space, good features. But the best part is the driving experience. It drives like a charm and is absolutely brilliant. But again, like in every vehicle, there are some things that could have been better. Of course, there's this rear legroom part, which I already explained earlier. Also, things such as the resolution of the rear view camera that could have been better. The grid lines, instead of being static, could have been dynamic. These are small things, but yes, all of these would have made the car a lot better. But the most important part, prices. Well, the prices are not out yet. They will be announced in the third week of September. Now, according to me, if Volkswagen can price the 1-liter Taigun somewhere around the same mark like the Skoda Kushaq, maybe in fact undercut it and price the 1.5-liter not too much but just slightly above the Kushaq, in that case I think that will be a competitive pricing and a good start for the Volkswagen Taigun in India.